Y'all, it's January, and now we have Lift on Netflix.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the Red Notice movies, don't we? They just keep happening. Netflix keeps pumping out these really empty, glossy action movies, whether we want them or not.
Yeah, and this Apple TV Plus does it too.
This one is not as obnoxiously glib as Red Notice.
Or
it's kind of more. What's that?
Or Ghosted.
Yeah, this is more in line with like The Gray Man, right? Like it's confidently made.
Sure.
It has its moments, but ultimately there's just nothing to it. It doesn't really work.
We got to steal it mid-flight, 40,000 feet in the air.
We're taking the plane, the whole plane?
It's kind of hard to take half a plane.
First of all, you've got to buy Kevin Hart as a romantic lead.
And an international art expert.
Yeah, I mean that I can accept that. You know, he's got the razzmatazz, the razzle dazzle. He can try and sell it, but like he is supposed to be not just the art expert, but also like a charmingly roguish kind of charismatic art expert. So he is the head of this crew of high-tech, globe-trotting thieves. We first see them all with their various jobs, robbing a very high-end auction in Venice. And each person's got their own little job. This is the kind of movie, like all movies of this kind, where like they have these aerial shots of different European cities. Pew, London, pew, Brussels, and they all kind of look the same, and they're all edited the same. They're all kind of empty. They all kind of run into like one city.
And they half the time they look like CG. Like the establishing shot of Venice, I was like, this looks completely made up.
Yeah. So they rob this this art auction, and Gugu Mbatha-Raw is the Interpol agent who is on their tail. But wouldn't you know, she had a romantic thing with Kevin Hart's character. His name is Cyrus. Her name is Abby. And so she has to, on the orders of her boss, played by Sam Worthington, who gets to be Australian, thank God. He doesn't have to do an American accent.
Revenge for Jake Sully.
So he is her boss, and so he instructs her to recruit Cyrus and his team to steal $500 million worth of gold bars, which are going to be on a plane from London to Zurich. Jean Reno is this horrible, greedy guy who pays off these terrorists to create disasters so he can then capitalize on them and profit from them. Anyway, why all this is happening, it really is not all that important. We got to get the gold bars on the plane, and then they got to figure out a way to get them off. And so it's a lot of like people sitting around in high-rise condos and warehouses, like making fun of each other, but the banter isn't all that funny. And the lighting looks exactly the same in every scene. Like it's like white, flat, hot lighting on every single scene.
It's set in a series of high-tech model homes.
It all looks, and like nothing is real. And we were talking a little bit about the Book of Clarence. Like that looked real. Like you're in the chariot. It's rumbling. You feel it. Here, like absolutely. Is anyone even in the same room with each other? I don't know. F. Gary Gray directed this, who has done many better action films in the past, including Set It Off and The Italian Job and the 8th Fast and Furious movie.
It's written by the guy who did that awful John Cena movie 12 Rounds, if that tells you anything.
I don't think I ever saw that.
You shouldn't.
I don't think I need to. I'm good. So again, this just feels like no one has any chemistry with each other. They're all these one-note characters, like this person's a pilot, this person's the hacker. The one exception to this is Billy Magnussen, who is doing this kind of goofy thing as the safecracker that reminded me of Brad Pitt in Burn After Reading, because he's got this like live wire kind of goofy unpredictability that like comes from a totally different movie, and I want to see whatever movie he's actually in.
I wish his lines were better, because Billy Magnussen is committing to the bit. I'll give him that. And I find him a really talented performer. Like, if you haven't seen him in like Ingrid Goes West or even Into the Woods, like he's amazing. But I liked the fact that he was trying for something different here, but the stuff they have him say and do is so stupid that I felt bad for him, because he was giving the script more than the script was giving him, you know. And Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who is this such a talented actress and can do anything, is trying so hard to seem like she's in love with Kevin Hart, but just no, you don't ever buy it.
Yeah. Part of me likes the fact that Kevin Hart is trying to do a different role here, right?
Sure.
Like he's not doing that fast talking flabbergasted thing that he always does, but he's also really not equipped at this point in his career to play this kind of like roguish romantic lead. I think he's really miscast, but also the script doesn't give him a whole lot to do. Like it gives no one anything to do. But the actual heist itself, there are some pleasures here and there in watching them plan it and watching what they do when things fall apart. Like that's kind of interesting here and there.
Absolutely. I'm sure they probably wrote that and then made a movie around it. But yeah, the heist itself is not bad. And, you know, you have to wonder, like, they probably shot this a year, 2 years ago. I'm sure they thought that NFTs were still going to be hot and respectable now.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, that's the one thing in this movie you're like, oh, really? We're doing that? Oh, you know, because... yeah, that's not a thing really anymore.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in August. I think it was supposed to come out last summer, and then because of the Writers Guild strike, they had to push it to which would explain why NFT seems so anachronistic. Yeah, so now it's on Netflix, and you can watch it on Netflix while you're getting a workout in on your Carol bike. That's probably a better way to pass the time. This is a good like folding your laundry movie. Maybe it's also a good workout while you're watching it movie.
There you go.
We have a deal with Carol Bike through January 15th, so a few more days left. You get $250 off your Carol Bike with our link and code, which is breakfast all day. If you're trying to get into a good workout routine at the start of the year, this is a great way to do it, and we are happy to help. I have one right back there, and it's a lot of fun when it's too cold and windy to go outside. We live in Los Angeles, and sometimes there are seasons. One of those seasons is wind. So Carol Bike, go check them out. I really enjoyed mine. A lot of fun, quick, efficient workouts. But you can do that, and that might make Lyft seem a little more tolerable, right?
It'll give you something to think about. I don't know. The movie sure isn't.
Yeah. And just like so many double crosses, triple crosses, we're like, oh, look, we're going to pull this out of our hat now. And this thing you think was real, nope, it's something else now.
Yeah,
and there's sort of I guess it's supposed to be fun, like that discovery, but it felt smug and...
yeah, it just these movies are such a formula where it's like you're right. The least interesting kind of globetrotting where, you know, they could literally just like pull out a new scrim to stand in front of that has like the Eiffel Tower painted on it for all the sense you get of them being anywhere. Like if they go from one airless space to another. It's just that one happens to be in London and one happens to be in Zurich or Brussels or whatever, you know.
And it's all kind of edited the same with the same kind of like pew, 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 like the montages and like the quick zooms, and it all feels like there's a sameness to this movie, to all these modern action movies that are made for these streamers. And maybe if you're on a plane yourself and you want something mindless to watch to pass the time between London and Zurich, maybe this is the movie to watch. I don't know. Oh, there's a plane they have to borrow that has some kind of amusing features to it. I'll say that.
Yes, but it's the kind of thing where there are Chekhov's amusing features, you know.
Oh, yeah. What's your number?
3.5. I just, you know, like I didn't hate it as much as I've hated Ghosted or a lot of the other sort of Red Notice movies, TM, Lon Harris. But yeah, it's a bore. It's the opposite of Book of Clarence, which is a movie that makes wild swings, and this one plays it so safe that it's just you just sleep right through it.
Yeah, I'll say 4.5. It's not terrible. Netflix has Lyft for you if you are so inclined.